everybody. Nice to see you, although I'm waiting for you to pop in the door, but it's lovely to be here. The sun is shining, and I even have my studio door open, which goes to show how hot I probably am or how it's warmed up. I'm not sure these days how that goes, but let me wait to see you jump on and find me on YouTube or on Facebook. You can find me on both places. I go live in my Hangout on Facebook. It's a really fabulous group. Last week, I think I said there were around 4,000 people, and I checked afterwards, and there's 4,500 people in that group. It's a really supportive, friendly group of obsessive knitters. So come and find us over there on Facebook if you want to get, deep in the weeds of knitting with the other truly myrtle knitters. It's the place to come, but otherwise, I also chat to you here on Facebook. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. Hi, Sabrina. Nice to see you too. I've got quite a few things to show you because I've been continuing to have rather a lot of fun and just, live the life I want to live. That's what I'm doing. So I've got quite a few things to show you. I'll just wait till a couple more people jump on. Tell me what you're working on. Sabrina, I saw that you had those faux fur coats and you're going to make all those pom-poms. I thought, what a brilliant idea. Are you going to share them around? There's a lot of pom-poms coming out of those coats. Hey, Maureen, lovely to see you too. Oh, I'm not sure who that is. Hi in Facebook, somebody. Hi, Cheryl. Nice to see you. Caught me live. Brilliant. That's really good. Okay, so should we just get started? I've been doing all this making and I've got knitting. I'm not going to show you the knitting. No knitting to show you today because I will show you that at some point. Yay, Dale, you're here live too. And you've bought a new pattern for your third. You bought a new yarn for your third urchin. Fantastic. You love that pattern, Kim. I do too. And I really need another one in a different. That's what I should do, actually. I'll add that to my list of things to do. Okay, where do I start? I'll start with sewing because I've been doing sewing. And I showed you last week I'd done the little top. And hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. Hi, Delane. Nice to see you. That was you. Northern New South Wales drizzly weather. Well, it's sunny here today. Look, I've got a book under there. We don't need the book. I've got all sorts of things. I seem to have I've run a path between me and the house. I almost should set up one of those pulley systems with a basket, or else I should get one of those big wheelbarrows that's actually like a tub, so I can put everything in it that I take inside and then I need to bring out again because I end up walking out with armfuls of things. Okay, I've been doing some sewing, and what I've done is I've done a couple of interesting things because the thing I get really sick of for myself is when hi Charmaine, nice to see you. Oh, you're nursing a cold, April. Well, curl up. That's a good place to be at home. When I am a very messy, creative person. Like I'm a very orderly person normally. I like order. I like things to have a home. I like things to be clean and tidy. I have to submit to the realities of life. That's fine. But when I start making, it's like a tornado hits my house and it's all hell breaks loose. And you can see behind me the mess that my little bit of yarn there is getting into because I like pull, stuff back like that. And it's the same thing happens in every aspect. My pantry turns into a chaos. My sewing things turn into chaos. Everything, I just get in it in the moment. I don't know if you people can relate to this. I get in the moment, everything turns to chaos, and then I have to turn around and tidy it up. So when I come back to sew, what I found is it's not just me though. Other people are poking in my things now, so I need to fix them as well. But I feel like I'm wasting time by trying to find things I want, work out what I want, and then put everything together. So I'm trying to put a system in place. I'm going to make systems. So this is like, I'm so hopeful for the systems. But what I've done is I've been doing some sewing and I've decided to, when you get patterns and you buy them in PDFs, and they come and they're these bits of paper and then you have these endless bits of paper, and I like to print out the instructions. I don't have an iPad that I drag around the house. I don't have an iPad. So I just like to print out the paper. I like to have it next to me on the sewing table to refer to. I do put like 2 pages to a page and I do backs and things like that, but I like to have them printed out. But then you have all these pattern pieces you haven't got a pattern packet because you bought the whole thing online, and then you end up with this mess of patterns and you don't know where to store them. So I've had this idea. I'm going to try it. I bought these. This is the one I'm doing first. I bought these envelopes, and they do stick up, but what I'll do is I'll just not unstick the back. And they're those craft envelopes. You could use any big envelopes really, but I've just bought these because I like it that they're brown, but also they're quite thick, and so I figured they're going to last the distance. I cut out the thing I'm working on, look, and I stuck it to the front. And I've actually got some boxes, those old Sistema ones that have the files in them. I used to put my patterns in them. Now I have a filing cabinet. I've got too many files, but I used to have them in just little boxes. So I've got those, and I'm going to just put them in my boxes just with the same little tags, A, B, C, D, whatever, so that they're all together. Actually, my patterns, I have names, but anyway, it's a different system. I'm going to do, I'm thinking on the hop what I'm actually going to do. It's a process. But anyway, this is how I've started, and I've put the pattern pieces inside. I can fold them and put them inside. I've started getting them printed a while ago on A0 because I'm done with going through so much sellotape and then trying to stick everything together. I am just going to get them printed. By the time I buy all the sellotape and print all the paper, I might as well get them printed on those big A0 pieces of paper. And then I've decided I'm also just going to cut them out. I'm just going to cut out the size I want on the paper, and that's my pattern piece. I'm streamlining. So that's what I've decided to do. So I have started with 2. I've got this hinterland dress that I'm working on, and I've also got the the Ogden cami, which I've made quite a few times, and I've even turned it into a dress, and I'm going to do that again because I love that dress. It's the one, it's like a browny mushroomy pink linen that I have, and I just cut out the lining. I cut the bodice to the length of the lining, and then I just made a big full skirt. I just grabbed the skirt from, I think it was the Clio skirt that I grabbed the skirt from, and I threw in pockets from something else. And so I've got this long dress. It's really long. It goes down to sort of halfway down my calves, maybe a little longer. And it's full, and it's got these big pockets, and it's got that lovely low scoop at the back of the Ogden, and then the one at the front. I love it. I wear that dress a lot. So I want another one of those for the summer. There's nothing like wearing full, volumes of fabric in the summer. I find it lovely and cool. I'll show you. I'll wear it. I'll wear it when the summer comes. I wear it often. I'll try and remember to show you. If you want to see it, I wore it in my pattern flounce. I think it was flounce. I think I wore that dress under it. So it's on the photos for that. I think that's the only one I may have worn it with. I don't recall any others, but I wore it for that one. Anyway, I love that one. So I use the Ogden cami. It's a good little cami. And I notice, either I never noticed before, or they've expanded the range, but they seem to have more larger sizes in it with a dart. So the smaller sizes don't have a dart, and the larger sizes have a dart. And of course, you can chuck a dart in if you want to. But anyway, so that's where I've got to. And so this is part of my process. I'm going to put in the packets. I'm going to store them so I can find them again quickly and make what I want. Hi, Barbara. And then what was the other thing I'm going to do? Oh, I'm going to do, at the moment, I'm knitting. I'm sewing one winter thing, because I'll show you what I'm going to make this one out of. I've started. And one summer thing at the same time. So I go winter, summer, so that I am also going to go into summer, and I'm going to have some clothes to wear. So where have I put the fabric? Here we go. I've decided I've cut them both out. These are the bits left. So I'm making the hinterland dress out of this. This is this gorgeous fabric. I had something else, but I needed to rewash it, and I was in a hurry to cut it out. So I'm making it out of this. It's got fabulous drape. It's a little bit of weight to it, and it's these lovely sludgy splotches all over it. That's about as wide as it gets. That's all I've got left. I really had to do a lot of jigsawing to get that pattern fitted into the fabric I had. But that's what I'm doing first for the hinterland dress. I'm doing no placket. It's just a round neck, 3/4 sleeves, skirt, pockets. It's really nice. It's great until you get a bit of a breeze, and then it becomes a a knicker flash when you have a full skirt on. Mine is so long, I don't think there'll be any chance of it. It just is long. I love long dresses. I think I might be a little bit old-fashioned inside. Anyway, so this is the Hinterland dress. It's all cut out, and I've done the bust darts, and I'm just about to sew the front to the back for the bodice. That's as far as I've got. I'll tell you what I'm doing for the other one, and then I'll go back to this. And then I've cut out this beautiful, beautiful linen. This is a real rose. I don't know where I got it from. I don't remember. I may have actually just got it from Spotlight, but this is this beautiful pink rose linen with this white slub through it. Oh, it's so lovely. So I'm just doing a simple little Ogden cami in that, and I'm thinking it would be really nice to have it with, I just want something really pretty. And so I have this little Ogden cami. I think when I get a little bit of a tan, that'll look quite good. And then I'll have, and I want a big skirt with it. I think that'll be so pretty for the summer. I just have this desire to wear feminine clothes. So that's what I'm going to do for the Ogden cami. Haven't sewn a seam, but it is cut out. I'm reporting my progress. See, it keeps me going. But what I wanted to say was something really interesting for those of you who are thinking of sewing and haven't started, or you're kind of new sewers, or maybe you're experienced sewers, it doesn't matter. But I'm making this Hinterland dress, which is from Sew Liberated. Now I made her Aeronite trap pants. I think they're called Aeronite pants. I was one of the testers for that, and I enjoyed those. I've worn those a lot, and I actually am going to make those again, slimline. I've already thinking about doing that, but I haven't used any of her finished patterns before, and I'm finding that really good. It's a really good, and I was working away on it, and I thought this is a really good pattern for someone who is a nervous sewer or a new sewer, or someone that just wants like just to sew without. It's just a good one, I think, because she really walks you through so much information. If you want to learn a little bit more, then I think it's a good one to use. I'll just say a couple of things. She's talked about stay stitching the bodice. She talked about so she talks about stay stitching. She doesn't just say stay stitch the bodice. It's when you do that stitch around the neckline or the armholes if you're doing sleeveless. She tells you where to stay stitch it. So she just gives you a little bit of extra detail. The bust darts I thought were really interesting. Now, I've always worked bust darts. Years ago, I must have read it. And so I work from the outside into the point. I've got thread on me. I work outside into the point, and then as you get to the point, you sew straight off the point. And then you just keep sewing. You don't sew to the point and then stop so that you get a little pointed bit. Sometimes then you sew straight off the end, cut it, and then tie a little knot. That's how I've always done my darts. Well, she's got another idea, which I tried, and it seems to work quite nicely. So she reduced her stitch length as she got closer in. So she started from the outside. She wanted you to curve your seam ever so slightly. I did find that I wasn't sure whether she wanted you to curve up or down. You'd have to think about that. I just went basically straight. You kind of curve a little bit. So you start from the outside. As you get closer to the bust apex, or the end of the dart, which is actually about here, because your bust apex is here, end of your dart's usually a little bit away from it, you reduce your stitch length. And then when you get to the end, hang on, I'll say exactly what she said. I thought it was quite interesting. She said, aim to reach the fold of the fabric about a centimetre before the dart. And then when you get to that point, you sew along the fold, reducing your stitch length to 0.8 until you reach the dart point. Well, my machine only went to 1. I couldn't go to 0.8. I go 1 or 0. I don't go to 0.8. So I went to 1. And then you remove the needle without back tacking. So that's what I do. You just keep driving off, cut the thread, and then tie the knot like I did. But that idea that you get smaller, I don't know if that's a professional way of doing darts. I'm not sure. But I thought that was an interesting, to give you that level of detail, I thought was really, really helpful. Something else she does do, which I know is from professional pattern cutting is on her patterns. I don't have one to show you. She doesn't do the little triangle. I don't know how many of the designers do now. She does a little line where you snip into them. So that is a professional pattern cutting method of snipping into the pattern rather than doing the little triangle out to match your triangles together. Where do I get them printed? I just snip down to Warehouse Stationery and I give it to them. Sometimes they make me wait, and so I go away and do something else, and then I come back, and so I get them printed in there. And sometimes it's one page. It's often 1 or 2 pages of A0 that you'll need to get printed. So whatever they charge you for that, sometimes it can feel a little expensive, except I figure by the time I've wasted all that time and I've spent all that money on sellotape and I've printed everything out and I've run out of ink on my printer, I think I'll just pay them something like, I don't remember, I think 2 pages might have been something like $16, something like that. But at Warehouse Stationery, I don't think they're the cheapest, but they're easy. Anyway, if you are thinking of, I've only done this one so far. I've done the other ones, but they weren't, obviously that was a test. But I've got quite a few of her patterns tucked away there, and I think it's actually they're really good to try. So if you want to have a bash at this one would be a nice easy one to start with. She's also got a really nice skirt, which I have, but I've forgotten the name of the skirt. But the skirt is nice as well. It has these sort of big pockets at the front. So I thought I'd make a few of those and just work my way through them. But I'm rather enjoying that. And I've still got my little process where I just do a seam and then I do another seam and I sit down and I leave everything and I can walk away, and it makes it all possible. Okay, the other thing I've been doing, I have been knitting. And I just said before, I can't show you that right now, but I'll show you some things soon. I've almost finished my daughter's jumper, the Wave Crest jumper that I've made for her in the new Truly Myrtle yarn. I'm not going to be on next week because I'm actually heading off to Cairn next week, but I'll show you the week after because I'm planning to have it finished to take to Cairn because she's coming with me. So, well, that's the plan. She's supposed to be coming with me. We'll see how much homework she's got to do. But I have been spinning. I've decided that I'm just going to do a little bit of spinning every single evening because I just want to quickly get better. I just want to get better at spinning. And so I just sat down the other night, and I think I am getting, it does pay to practice. It does pay. I still had a little bit of that. Do you remember I did this one? That really ropey one with all these crazy colors that looks like it's very rustic. This one that I did first. Anyway, I kept going. I still had some of that kind of wonky cream yarn on a bobbin. So I thought, oh, well, I'll do some more and I'll spin the next lot with wonky cream yarn. And this is the next lot I did. And it's actually quite pretty. It's better. It is better. It's not quite as wonky. The cream bits, some of them can be a bit wonky. But my new spinning is, well, it's improved along that skein. It's still not brilliant, but it's improved. What I decided to do was just have a refresher on what I'm doing to sort of tease out my yarn and my fiber before I spin it. And so I've just been pulling it apart a little bit and, tearing it into strips. So I'm actually preparing it a little bit better for myself before it goes into the spinning wheel. And I have just now spun almost all of the scrap fiber I've had sitting around my house. I found a little set of merino tops that was in a set that someone, I don't know who had got it. Maybe it was a gift. Anyway, I found this little set that you're supposed to turn into a duck by a needle, felted duck. And I thought, we don't need to make a duck. I'm going to use that to spin. And that was that really pretty orange and the yellow. And it was beautifully prepared. And so I just pulled it all out nicely. And the duck turned into yarn. So now I have this other yarn. And then I still have the pops of green from the other one and the browns where I was blending my colors together. So that one is marginally better. They don't really go together, but maybe I could do something with them together. My mum saw my podcast last week and she turned up at my house and she said, I'll make booties for you out of those if you want. So maybe she will make those into some big wild toddler booties. I haven't actually weighed them. I'm imagining they're about 50 grams each. That one might be a little bit more. So I'm still going. I then found a bag. I have got some lovely fiber there, but I'm not going to touch it yet. I then found a bag of cream something. And I think it might be merino, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it is merino. And I'm just starting to spin that. So I've spun one bobbin. I really had to rethink my tensioning. And last week I told you I bought extra brake bands, I think. No, drive bands. I didn't. I bought brakes. I've got extra brakes. I've got all these brakes. Anyway, I had to go back to basics and refresh myself about tensioning my spinning wheel. So I think I'm back in the rhythm of that. It's all just step by step, isn't it? Where you're just trying to work out the oops, hang on. What am I doing here? Trying to do something with your comments. It's just step by step as I try and work it out. But this is definitely getting better. It's definitely getting better. I've been practicing my draw, and you can do that where you pull the yarn, the fiber out for a forward draw, or you can do backwards draw. I much prefer the forwards draw. I produce much nicer yarn with a forwards draw, and I've been doing a bit of research. So I've poked through. I had a big sort out in my office, and I've found a couple of books that I had. This one is called Spindles and Shafts. These are just absolutely gorgeous, these old books. And that one is Your Hand Spinning. That's actually quite a good little book. It's got all sorts of diagrams in it, and I love these old books. They're so useful. They're full of great tips and tricks and information. She talks about spinning on a supported spindle. I've got a supported spindle. I need to use it. All sorts of stuff, preparing hand yarn. But then I rediscovered, which I totally forgot I had a whole lot of these magazines called Ply. And I don't know if it's still going. Someone might know in the chat, although your comments have vanished. This happened to me last week as well, and I couldn't see what you were saying. And then afterwards I had a look, and you were all chatting away, and I couldn't see anything, so maybe that's happened again. Anyway, Ply, which I think might still be going, is an absolutely gorgeous spinning magazine, and I used to subscribe to it. And so I subscribed to it for that long, that many times. It was obviously came out for this winter, spring, autumn. So it came out 4 times a year, summer. I subscribed to it in 2014 and 2013 and 2014, 2015. That was a long time ago. But I found this one. Everyone sort of has a name. So there's Leicester is that one, and Community, and Woolen. I don't know how they do it now. Woolen, and one's called Twist, and Silk, and Fine. Those are all the ones I have. And this one is called Worsted. And it's really, really so fascinating. And if you are someone that likes learning all the things about things, like me, I like learning all the things. It's really good to go through. So this one talks all about spinning worsted, which is what I'm doing first. It's what I'm going to master. I have this dream. I want to do a beautiful, fine worsted spun yarn, and I want to knit a shawl with it. That's what I want to do first. And then I would like to knit a garment with it. So, oh, fantastic. Here comes a comment. Brilliant. Ply is still going, and JC, so it's JC Hoggs is the name of the woman that does this. She's done a Kickstarter for an online guild to start next month. Oh, thank you for telling me that. I'm going to go and look that up. Fantastic. It's, she's really clever. Anyway, this is a great one, worsted. I'll show you a couple of things. In the beginning, there was worsted. It's all about worsted. Does she still do them like this? Do they magazines still come on a theme? Because I quite like that. There's one I wanted to show you here where they talk about, they talk all about combing wool. There's a whole lot of stuff about how to comb wool. But I talk about long fibers and medium fibers, short fibers. Where is the things I showed before? Oh, they've got about preparing things. Sorry, I had these couple of things I wanted to show you. Oh, here we go. Woolen versus worsted. That's really interesting. I actually think the more we learn about the production of yarn, when we make it ourselves, and when we learn so much about fibers, our knitting gets better. I think we can make better decisions about our knitting. I think I will. And so the more I learn, the better, the more I make it. Adele says, I haven't touched my spinning wheels for ages either, and I would love to at some point. It's such a lovely meditative craft. I find the treadle sewing machine like that too, so quiet without motors. It is. I find it even more relaxing than knitting. I mean, there's a fine line, because sometimes knitting, when you're just knitting round and round and round, that can be very relaxing. But there's something about that, just that you're right, it's that quietness of it, and it's that repetition of it. It's extremely relaxing. I don't have a treadle sewing machine, although my mum keeps saying she wants to get one. But I love hand sewing, and that's kind of the same, although I always prick myself. But this gentle rhythm of spinning, oh my gosh, it's so lovely. So anyway, this is quite good all about worsted versus spinning. She talks about, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more because there's an interesting thing in here. Shine potential, getting luster in something. Oh, where is it? There was something. Oh, here it is. Distance and reach. Now, this is what has been of interest to me at the latest, is distance and reach. And it's all about where you spin from. So she has these photos. If you spin, so she says here, breaking the staple or drafting too far, notice where it gets thin. So if you're doing this, you'll find all of a sudden it'll just flick and you'll lose your yarn. That can still happen to me because I'm still learning again, relearning. I was never really that brilliant at it. I was just okay, but I'm learning again. Barely reaching into the fiber supply engages fewer fibers and creates a thinner yarn. So this is this idea that you draw out of the fiber you're spinning. You don't, it's very tempting to let the spinning wheel just take the fiber and you just like go backwards and the fiber comes out. But if you're actually choosing the fiber to spin, it works better for me. I make a much nicer yarn. So that one is talking about how to create a thin yarn. And then she talks about reaching deep into the fiber with this one. Reaching deep into the fiber makes a thicker yarn. And then she said, draft here and your yarn will be thin. Can you see that? Draft here and your yarn will be thin. Draft there and your yarn is going to be thicker, or be slightly thicker. And then if you draft there, it's going to be even thicker. And it's just really helpful. I think it's really helpful. And hot button, worsted drafting. Oh, this is a hot button topic. Worsted drafting. Someone says, please don't tell us short backward drafters that we can't make true worsted. It's fun when it's geeky. This is geeky stuff, but it's really interesting. Worsted and joining. She gives you some good instructions about that. It's really, really good. You know something I actually love about it? Oh, apart from the fact that there was also an article about this place here called Worsted. There's an article about worsted. It's in Norfolk, and I thought I might have to retire there. It's the sheep in Norfolk. I thought to have had a relatively long staple, and most yarn was spindle spun, conductive to a worsted style. This is 16th century. There we are. We can all move to worsted in the UK. I used to live in Cambridge. That wasn't far from Norfolk, and so I think that might be the place to go. The County of Norfolk. Anyway, it's really excellent. The thing I really love about this magazine and all things spinning is that New Zealanders have incredible spinning history and wonderful spinning wheels. And so we're part, it's being in the Southern Hemisphere, often things always happen somewhere else, not here. Things also happen with New Zealanders. So if you can look around and you can see some of these wheels, I'm sure some of these wheels, that looks a little bit like, I don't know what that one is, but that one looks a little bit like an Ashford wheel to me. It's really nice that there's kind of a place for this history, this New Zealand history in here. And I love that. So I noticed there was another ad for another New Zealand wheel called, what's it called again? Maya. There was an ad in here for that as well. Anyway, that made me very happy looking through. There is, unfortunately, quite a strong urge to buy all of the wheels, which I have to resist. And I was telling Mr. Myrtle the other day, all these Americans always talk about this schnacked wheel. I've been hearing about that for years, the matchless. It sounds amazing, this matchless wheel, but I couldn't even think about justifying getting a wheel like that because A, that's incredibly expensive on the other side of the world, and B, I live in a country that creates these amazing wheels. So I went and had a little bit of poke around, and I've decided if and when I get another wheel, I think I would like an Ashford Joy. That's what I want, an Ashford Joy. So then happily, he found me one on Trade Me, but he went off. We've got a little thing. It's like Craigslist for the Americans. Trade Me. He found one. Someone's selling an Ashford Joy. Maybe it's one of you, but I'm not going to buy it. I said, no, no, hold your horses. We're not going to get me another wheel because I have to actually do the spinning for a long time first. And if I'm going to do anything first, it'll be getting a fly that moves on my wheel. So I'm feeling really like into it. Someone gets the digital magazines. Aha, I just got my latest Ply magazine. The theme was place. Nice. And the last one, science, was wonderful. Oh, I might have to get them again. That sounds really fun. I'd enjoy that. So when I was doing a little bit of my research, Mayercraft, that's right. Mayercraft Susie and Little Gems. Mayercraft, that's the other company. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about it, isn't there? This whole fiber crafts. I don't know. It's just, I was born for this. I was having a little look around and I thought to myself, I think what I should do is I should get good on some Corriedale before I bust into my super fine micron, micron merino that I've got there. Beautiful stuff. I think what I'll do is I'm going to have a bash at spinning some Corriedale because it's got a relatively good staple and it's nice fiber, nice and kind of slightly robust. It's good and soft. And so I thought I'm going to learn to get good spinning on that and I'll make a shawl out of it. So then I went and had a little poke around to see what I could get for Corriedale. And I got these. I got a few things for me to learn how to spin. First of all, I found that Die Happy Yarn has got 100% New Zealand Corriedale combed tops. So I got some. I got that one because I thought that one's going to be kind of earthy and delicious. I'd have to think about how I plied it. I also got this one, which is oranges and purples and all kinds of lovely in the same skein, like on fire. That one's called Pretty Polly 2. This one's called Me Hearty. So there's those two. And then I got one more from her, which is this one, Flora. So this has actually got silk in it, Corriedale and silk. Those two are just straight Corriedale. But I thought that was really pretty, really, really pretty fiber. So these are all hand dyed from New Zealand dyer. And yeah, so it's all Corriedale. So that's what I thought. I'll start with that. But then I just couldn't really stop. So I also got a couple of other things. I got this one from Deline, who I think is here, Deline. I got this one from Deline, handcrafted in New Zealand. 26 micron Corriedale. It's 125 grams. Moody Blues, which is just lovely. It's not dissimilar to this. There's a likeness there. But this one has more purples in it than this one. But then I also got this one. And this one is Corriedale wool and mulberry silk. And it is divine. And that one is it that one? I think it's that one that was my daughter's favorite. She told me out of all of them. So that's purples and pinks. 85% fine Corriedale wool, 15% mulberry silk. Absolutely beautiful. So I was thinking I would spin those. I could ply them. I don't have to ply them with themselves. I could spin up bobbins and then I could work out whether or not I kind of blend these ones together to do some sort of interesting yarn out of all of them. I don't know whether I somehow bring in, I don't know. I'm just going to have a go. Do you knit with those or spin them? You spin them because they are fiber. I'll show you this one. Take it off. They're called combed tops. They're really soft and lovely. Hi from Pocono. How's your weather doing? I think you've probably got the same sun as me down there. Let's have a look. Get that label off the end. They look like this. This is a braid, so they get braided up. But if you undo the braid, that's a day, so I'm losing myself, then this is what they look like that. But you don't spin it just like that. You kind of tease it out. There's an awful lot of fiber in here. So you tease it all out and you pull it apart from itself. so that it wants to find how long it is. It's quite nice and long. And you just get it all. I might rip a strip off. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going down to Knit August Nights next week, and I'm thinking I might put my spinning wheel in my car. And I know Delene is going to be there, and I know, and Heather, you're going to be there, and a bunch of people are going to be there. And I think I can't take a spinning class because I'm teaching, but I think if I sit down and I do some spinning, don't laugh at me, everybody who's looking at my spinning, but you can help me get a little bit better. That would be great. I am open to all help and suggestions on improving my spinning. So those are beautiful, and there'll be lots more fiber there. So I'm imagining that I might get myself a little bit more fiber when I'm in Napier. So yes, you spin from those. There's about 100 grams in each one. So that is equivalent to a skein of yarn. Oh, here's a skein of yarn. There's a skein of yarn. That's a skein of fiber. So you turn that into that. Although that's got cotton in it, so I'm not going to do that with that. But fabulous, isn't it? I feel like I've died and gone to heaven. It's absolutely lovely. I'm really enjoying myself. I'm encouraging you to just do it. Just do it anyway. I don't have time. I literally do not have time to do these things, but I have decided I am going to make time. I am making time. And it's funny, isn't it? Because once you start making time for things, then it's very easy to give up things that are eating into your time. And it can be easier to give up some things when you start saying, actually, no, can't do that, or I don't want it. No, I don't have time to do that, or I'm not going to sit down and spend some time looking at this or whatever. If I'm going to do that, you know what I mean. I really encourage you. I'm really enjoying myself, and I think it's important these days to do stuff like this. Feed your soul a little bit, because I think it makes everything feel a little bit more manageable in life. All right, everybody, I will not see you next week because I am disappearing off to Napier, and I'm teaching down there for Knit August Nights. It's going to be a fun weekend, and I will see you the week after that. I'll be back here. Someone says, I regret getting rid of my spinning wheel. Just thought I'd never have time to do that when I was busy with kids. No, I haven't touched mine for 6 years, 5 years, maybe. Do you think it's that? It could easily be that long. I've been back in New Zealand 10 years. I was doing a lot of spinning when I first got here. I obviously was buying a lot of these magazines. I was really getting into it, and then just got really busy. Just got really, really busy. And that went to one side, and it just sat. My spinning wheel just sat there lonely. So I'm enjoying that. I can see my daughter's trying to FaceTime me. I'll ignore her for a minute. But you can pick up spinning wheels around the place. You can pick up spinning wheels at secondhand shops. You can pick up spinning wheels on, like if you're in New Zealand, on Trade Me or Craigslist or whatever it is, eBay. People often get rid of spinning wheels, like you might have. And it's like real nappies. I found that because we used real nappies for our babies, and the minute someone heard that you used real nappies, they gave you all their nappies. They're like, oh, I thought I'd use them, and I bought all these nappies, and I'm not going to use them, and you use them. And I'd end up with all these nappies that I could use for my babies. So in the end, I could pass things on to other people because I ended up with so many nappies. I think it's going to be the same for spinning wheels. Oh, look at that. I just happen to have a spinning wheel. Would you like it? Yes, I'd love it. And then you can get to work and fix it up. Who is the dress pattern designer? It is So Liberated. It's Meg McElwee from So Liberated is that one. So Liberated. But the other dress I spoke about that I made, that I love, is the Ogden cami top that I just attached about here to a big flowing skirt with pockets in the sides. So that one it's so simple, that one. It's lovely. But if you are going to do it for the first time and you haven't sewn for a while, maybe do it with quite a nice firm woven, not something that's too slippy, because those straps will be a pain. It looks as if you should steam the wool just before you start, let more air in. So you do that. I'll show you another day when I'm a little bit more proficient. But you do that by you can just gently tease it out. And this is actually already prepared to a certain degree because it's been combed, so it's lovely and soft. But you do need to tease it right out. So you just can get to work and you create the air in it yourself. So it is quite matted. It feels matted like this, but you can tease it out. I quite like to have a bash at dyeing some fibre too. That would be fun. I've done that once before. Have fun at Cannes. Yes, Adele. Yes, you should come one day. It's really good fun. It's lovely. It's lovely. It's I'm really looking forward to it. It'd be nice. I'm going to take one of my girls. I took one last year. I'll take another one this year. Adele says that's how I ended up with two. She means spinning wheels. Auntie gave me a traditional. That's like the one I've got. And then I found a traveler at the dump for $20 and I couldn't leave it there. Exactly, Adele. They just come. You gravitate towards you. These things that you need, be it nappies or spinning wheels or whatever it is. Yarn, patterns, all sorts of stuff. Okay, yeah, see you at Cannes. So I won't see you next week. I will see you the week after. Do lots and lots of making to your heart's content. I would love to come back next week and hear about all the things that you have just decided just to do, just to think, no, sod it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make time for it. This is something that's important to me. I do not want to be an old lady and look back and think, God, what did I do with all that time? I should have been doing some spinning. I don't want to be that old lady. I am going to do it. Okay, I will catch you later. Have a really good couple of weeks, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. See you later.